We got some real life drama. These are your stories. First up, they wanted a shout out. Alive and confused. I feel like that. Most dreadful first date story that ended in the hospital and an unsuspected friend. That is one bad date. Hi, Miss Joss. Hi. You are awesome sauce and your videos are so fun. Keep up the good work. You're so sweet. I get so emotional when you guys like talk to me in these stories. I'll cry. Okay, context. So I was a freshman in uni, 18, had a bad judgment of character, new to the lower 48, and lonely being surrounded by couples. Perfect storm, girl. We have all been there, trust me. Oh my God. So I got to swiping on that popular app. I was at a small university, not near any major metro, so the options there were not great. I matched with the guy who is named Tyler. Real name, he sucks. Real name, he sucks. So shout out Tyler. Tyler, I am here to show you out. Apparently you suck. I know Tyler's though, and some of them are great. The first two red flags were that his name was Tyler and all my friends had bad exes of the same name. Then in his bio read to not match with him if you take too long to respond. I remember being glued to my phone, not wanting to take too long to reply, even taking my phone into the dorm shower to reply. Girl, is your phone waterproof? Ain't no way am I texting somebody in the shower. I don't care. Only if it was Miley Cyrus would I be doing that. I know my self-worth was not as strong as it is now. Tyler was late 20s, very tall, almost 7 feet, oh damn, handsome with a good job. We messaged for a while and clicked. Long phone calls and pictures exchanged for a few weeks. After my finals, he drove an hour to pick me up for the first date. Tyler looked like his pictures and he did not lie about his height. He got him a lot of looks, which probably made me overlook some things. We went to dinner in a town near where he lived, in his car, an hour from campus. Conversation was flowing and he said all the right things. I'd been eating dessert when I had a really bad stomach pain and I told my date. Tyler offered to take me to his house since it was closer than campus, and I stupidly accepted the offer. What have we learned, guys? We do not go to strangers' houses on the first date, and they do not come to ours. I literally went to a stranger's house. Matt was the stranger on our first date. So I can just... He wasn't a total stranger. People knew him, okay? Anyways, don't listen to me ever. As soon as I had gotten there, I had a conversation with Ralph, if you know what I'm saying, as my dad says. Tyler was very sweet and brought me water and crackers. Tyler went to bed at some point after an hour or two of me never being able to leave his toilet. I was sleep deprived from finals week and just wanted to sleep, which I was convinced would make me feel better, but rest never came. I never had a chance to look through his residence, but his bathroom was clean, decorated, but nothing that raised any alarms. Does he have a girlfriend? I'm sensing something here. In the morning, I was still stuck in his bathroom and just did not know what to do. Tyler was nice and made me breakfast, but I couldn't eat it. He was nice and sat with me to talk, which was comforting. I noticed he kept checking his phone. I asked if he had something that he had to do. Tyler did not say anything. He went into his bedroom, then a little while later, he came out dressed and said he had to go pick up his niece and take her to daycare. Then he would pick up nausea medication for me. I thanked him, he kissed my forehead, then out the door he went. As soon as Tyler left, I called my mom, as young people do when they don't know what to do. My mom worked in the medical field, so I felt like she would have the magic solution. I dumped everything out on the phone. Location, the hours of befriending the royal throne, and the first date. She was immediately concerned and said as soon as he returned to go to the ER. She held off the lecture for later, but I felt it coming. I began to panic, being told my symptoms were not normal. Well, after the call, I sent a text to Tyler. Then I heard the door open. I said something about, "Hey, I just sent you a text," when I heard a woman's voice reply, "Who is that?" My senses were right, I just knew it. A pretty and mid-20s woman came around the corner with a look of confusion. She asked who I was and why I was in her bathroom. I tried to explain I went on a date with Tyler, then got sick and had been throwing up all night. The more words I said, the madder she became. My hope of her just being a roommate quickly vanished as she said, "Tyler..." Oh, it's way worse than I thought. Oh my God. As she said, Tyler is her husband of 5 years and they have a daughter together. So he wasn't picking up a niece. I was mortified and scared that this woman was thrashing me about like it's an old World Star video. I haven't thought about World Star in a long time. She began yelling more so at the universe and describing graphic things Tyler would be experiencing soonly. I believe the sounds of my dry heaving snapped her back, and I remember saying something like just wanting my mom. I think she started to move over the rage for some pity and began to ask questions. She asked if I had been drinking, age, where I live. She introduced herself as Selena and was upset Tyler had gone for such a younger woman, felt it was predatory, and left me in the bathroom alone. Selena said he was probably taking their daughter to daycare. Ding, 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 ding. Selena had to help me walk to her car since I was so weak, and she drove me to the hospital. What a saint. On the way there, I replayed all of the ignored red flags, like very specific times I was allowed to call, the toys in the back seat claiming that they were his nieces, how we only used Snapchat, refused to give phone digits, claiming if I turned out to be cuckoo, then he didn't want to change his number. Oh girl, come on now. And oh my God, what the fuck is this guy's name? This is screaming high school right now.
Freudian slip.
Freudian? Bro, do you guys remember learning that in high school? That was a long time ago. And some Freudian slips that we bought instead of I bought. Selena helped me get checked into the hospital and I was rushed in. As soon as I was given nausea medication, I fell asleep hard. Selena stayed by my side and woke me up to sign some paperwork. I could have signed over my kidneys for all I knew. I was very out of it. When I woke up, I felt so much better and my mom was there. I was shocked to see Selena as the day's event came back to me. My mom explained Selena had called her from my emergency contact to inform her I was having surgery for an appendix rupturing and needed major surgery. Can you imagine coming home to find the other woman and then and she's a younger girl, and then taking her to the hospital and everything? How old was Tyler? Did I miss that? Late 20s. He's in his late 20s and she's 18. Oh my God, yeah, big difference. Selena had stayed for hours to make sure the woman she found in her bathroom was okay. It was very surprising to me and I don't know if I could have done the same. My mom had been filled in and shot me a few of those mom looks. One of those. Selena told me she was dealing with Tyler tonight and she had not answered any of his texts or calls. She said he knew she had gotten home early from work where she travels from the exterior camera at the house. We figure he returned home to his date being gone, checked the cameras, and pooped himself. Selena let him stew but moved into the shadows by calling his family to show up to the house that evening with trucks to not tell Tyler, and they were all going to be surprised. Selena had timed it to go home as they arrived, tell his family in front of Tyler, and have them haul his stuff out that afternoon. I went home with my mom and recovered well. I still have scars to remind me not to trust my gut, but pay attention to the red flags and follow my Dateline Obsessed mom's safety tips. And your Dateline Obsessed Joss's safety tips. Although I don't take them myself, apparently. I also walked away with a lifelong friend in Selena. I visit her and her daughter yearly for a girl's day. It has been almost a decade. The little girl is 14 now. Selena and I still do not know how to tell her how we met, but we know I will use a cautionary tale. That's crazy. We watched one of your videos together last month. I'll cry. And thought it would be good to spread this now funny cautionary tale. At gatherings, I've always had the worst date story. Selena had later informed me Tyler had his mom watching their daughter while she would go to work for 2 to 3 days out of town when he cheated on her, or while he cheated on her. His mom did not know and was very mad at him. Selena had got tested and had a very treatable STD from Tyler's gallivanting. Tyler lost his very nice job after pursuing his team leader's daughter, who was 17. Yeah, that went over my head and it shouldn't have, because gross. He was only prosecuted for contributing to the delinquency of a minor for providing the girl with liquor. Tyler now lives states away and seems to have his act together. Ladies, do not go to unknown people's homes. Let people know your plans and be cautious on the internet because you never know who is on the other end. Do not always do it for the plot. Thank you for reading our story. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Selena? I forget, what's the other name? You didn't tell me your name, did you? No, you're alive and confused. That was very fun to read. I mean, I'm sorry it happened, and I heard the appendix surgery is absolutely terrible, but it felt like girl chat. You know, I felt like I was there with you and Selena hearing this story. Perfect time to hop on Hydration Station. Look at my cup with the cute bow. Oh my God, that was so rude. Cheers. Next up, we have Catherine. Am I the a-hole for cutting out my family over a cat? Buckle up and hop aboard the hydration station for this one. We just did. A few months after losing my father to cancer, I'm sorry, a friend of the family reached out and asked if my mother could look after a stray cat that she had been caring for while she went into the hospital. Of course, my mom said yes and took the cat in for a few days. Sadly, while in the hospital, no, her friend died. No. Oh my God, this story is so sad already. And now my mom was left with this cat. No one else in her family wanted the cat, so my mom kept it until she could figure out what to do with it. My brother, 30 male, and his girlfriend, 30 female, live at the house with my mother. They both had been living there for years with no real plans of leaving or doing anything. They just seemed to use my mother and the house for free. I would visit my mother once a week with my son and stay for meals and spend time with her as much as we could. I know the loss of my father was overwhelming and we wanted her to know that she was not alone. Note, I took my own food each week, lunch, dinners, and snacks. I didn't mind as much as I knew money was tight and I didn't want her to stress about feeding her growing grandson. When I would visit, I noticed I would get sick. I would be covered in a rash and my breathing started to get affected. At first, I thought I was having a reaction to a change in a washing powder. Little did I know this was just the start. I went to work one day and I cleaned holiday houses for a living. I love it, it's simple work and it pays the bills, so what else do you need from a job? I work on my own and I enjoy it that way. One day I was sent to do a clean at a house where you had to walk up a small hill and it's off the main road right outside of town. I arrived and found that the guests had brought their 3 cats with them on holiday. Odd, but okay. So I waited for them to leave and got started on my work. After 15 minutes, I was not able to stand up straight and could not stop sneezing. Okay, dust, I thought. Another few minutes passed and I found my chest getting tighter. At this point, I knew something was very wrong. Girl, you are allergic to the cats. I got out of the house as fast as I could and I ran to my car. There was no signal on my car and no way to call for help. I could feel my body shutting down. I got in the car, not my best idea, and started it up hoping to drive to find anyone who could help. I don't know how, but I made it into town, stopped outside my local pharmacy, and crawled inside. As it was, they were the closest place I knew I could get help, knowing time was running out. The staff noticed what was going on, and I somehow got out the words, "Cat." Before I could do anything else, the staff had me on the floor and stabilized me with an EpiPen. After about an hour, I was fine and I was able to go straight to the local doctors who looked after me and got me in for an allergy test. Surprise, surprise. I have a severe cat allergy. I told my mother and my brother about the allergy and my mom shrugged it off as me being dramatic and my brother said I was lying. Could you get like a doctor's note for that? So I posted a picture of my test results hoping that that would make them realize I wasn't lying. I asked what they had planned to do with the cat, now knowing I would not be able to visit the family home if it were there. My brother and his girlfriend said they wanted to keep the cat. This surprised me as it was my mother's house and she had the final say. She said they got attached to it and they wanted to keep it. I explained this meant I was not able to come around or visit anymore and that I would not be bringing my son over to see her. I could not risk him coming home being covered in cat hair and making me sick. She said that made her sad and that I could come over and sit outside. It was winter. I asked what would happen if I needed to use the toilet. It was an hour drive to visit her and I just meant to hold it. She seemed unhappy with my question and never answered it. So I said, while the cat is there, I would not be coming over anymore. It was the cat or me and her grandson. She picked the cat, but didn't say it outright. So I stopped going over to visit. I went low contact. If she wanted to come and see us, she was welcome, but I would not be setting foot in her house ever again. Christmas came around and she had made the choice to sell the family home and move to a smaller place. I was wondering, why can't she go visit you and you can use like a lint roller before going inside if it was like that severe? Like, a relationship cannot fail because of a cat, you guys. I was fine with this as I knew paying for a big house was not easy for her on her own. Plus, that would mean I could visit again soon as my brother, girlfriend, and cat would not be there. She wanted all the family over for one last Christmas at the house. I said no. The cat was there and I would not be. My whole family came down, so I made a deal just once to pop over and stand outside to see the family and let them wish my son a Merry Christmas, have a photo or two, and then go. My son, being young, wanted to go inside and play, and without stopping him, my mom took him inside and I could not get in to get him. Oh no. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I had to wait in the cold. My husband went in to get our son and my mom stood there and told me to hold my breath and come inside to see everyone. Now, I don't have a severe allergy, obviously. That would lead me to an EpiPen. So I can't imagine like the anxiety and overwhelm that comes with an allergy like that. Cause yeah, that's how allergies work. And I only needed to hold my breath for an hour to make everyone happy. I got back in my car and I waited. My husband and my son came out and got in the car. We got home and both threw their clothes in the wash and had a shower. Sadly, I came out in a rash and got very sick as I was stuck in the car with them to get home. I washed up and got into bed covered in a red rash and coughing. Fast forward a few months and my brother, girlfriend, and cat are still living in the house. I stuck to my word and I did not go back. My father's ashes are at the house and I have not been able to visit or grieve the way I need to or be there for my mother the way I promised my dad. I feel like I have let him down. I have not been able to help my mother pack up her house or go through childhood things. I am the outsider in my own family. My mother keeps asking me to come over and I said no. It's the cat or me. She's not changed her mind. She has missed out on so much with my son and he is crushed that he can't go over. Sadly, I still get told to hold my breath and come in. I just can't respond to that anymore. The worst part is my brother and his girlfriend are moving with my mother and taking the cat. So I still can't go over and visit them in the new house. Over the months, I have helped my brother get a job so he could move out, and he will not. His girlfriend has a job as well, and they still will not move out. I was able to get them a rented flat under their budget with parking, with free parking, in a local town so they could live nearby, and they still turned it down. They want to buy a house and never need to rent. So they are saving up all they can and they think that they will be moving into a new house in 3 months. I really can't wait for the real world to hit them in the face and to see how easy they have had things. They are living in this safe little bubble and my mother is helping them stay in it. I've tried to help them, even offering to pay for the first month's rent to help them out, but nothing will get them out on their own. I have done all I can. I don't want to waste any more energy on this anymore. The day my dad died was the day I lost my family. He would have never let a cat come before me, but my mother has picked the cat over me more than once and seems okay about it. I'm ready to cut out the family as I am one of 5 and no one else is willing to stand up and take my side. That this cat is not worth more than me and my son. It could have been rehomed and loved by another family, and if my brother wanted a cat, he could have got one when he was living in his own house, if that day ever came. So what do you think? Am I the a-hole for cutting my family out of my life over a cat? Have I made the right choice? I mean, truly, you will only know that answer, but I think you lost your dad, and I would hate to see you lose your mom over a cat, like while she's still here and everything. But I get your dilemma. This is a very serious allergy. It's not like, ooh, a little sniffle, like very severe. I don't know enough about allergies. Can you go over there with like a mask on? Or is it, even if it touches your skin, you'll just like get around? Like, I don't know enough about it. It makes me sad that you guys can't like meet up at a restaurant or like a park where you could like bring the food and the snacks there. Like, why can't any of that happen? We gotta have a relationship. That's a tricky one. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next up, we have Ava. In middle school, I had this guy best friend. Let's call him James. He was in love with me for years. I don't mean that narcissistically. He for real was, and you could ask anyone I went to school with. James and I were super close until about freshman year of high school. He had asked me to homecoming and I said yes. Unfortunately, because I had strict parents, I couldn't go. He took this as a sick joke I had pulled on him, and our relationship became rocky. We were on and off talking in sophomore year when I took a stronger liking to him. Over the summer after sophomore year, we started talking every day, and eventually we started dating. I was new to the whole relationship thing, so I wasn't the best girlfriend. When junior year started, I tried hiding that he was my boyfriend because he had quite the reputation. He was known for being a partier and the school F-boy. I was known for being the quiet type, so at school I wasn't around him much, and my friends liked to smack talk him, especially in front of him. This is like a rom-com movie script. He didn't like this and ended things because I let them bully him. He was an asshole to them before we started dating, so I felt like they had every right to be mean. Later, I found out the real reason he broke up with me was because he was secretly seeing a girl from a town over. I was heartbroken because I grew attached rather quickly. He started being to me, constantly berating me. It broke me to my core. Once things settled down, I got the courage to talk to him again. One thing led to another, and he ended up taking my virginity. We hooked up a few times after that. Then he outright ghosted me. I kept trying to talk to him, and he kept spinning things around in his favor. I finally gave up because he just kept going around spreading rumors about me and making me feel like a bad person. Even saying things like, I never cared about you, or I never wanted to have sex with you. Let me tell you, if someone said that to me in high school, that would have literally killed me. I would have been devastated. When he said before that he'd been in love with me and he was excited, I wanted him to be my first time. Now, I forgot to mention that before me and James had gotten together, one of my close friends had been hooking up with him. After we started dating, she stopped talking to me. After constantly saying she hated him and never wanted to be near him, she acted like I stole him from her. To this day, they still hook up from time to time, and I care deeply for my friend, so it hurts me even more that she keeps going back because he said some pretty horrible things to her as well. I think moral of the story is do not mess around with the manipulative, toxic F-boy. Yet so many people do. The bad boy in high school, the player. Oh my God, I have so many stories like that. Not me. I dated my elementary school best friend through all of high school, and he was not the cool kid. All right, next up, Carolyn. Am I the a-hole? I, 52 female, have been living with my niece, 28-year-old female, for 2 years. Backstory, I have a disability and I live in chronic pain. That makes me so sad because you guys are my friends. Like, genuinely. I was always hardworking, independent, and driven. It has been hard losing my strength, suffering severe depression, and becoming someone I don't recognize. I met a man and we moved in together into a rent-to-own home, blended our families, and got engaged. Long story short, I was scammed out of my house. Whoa. I'm in a very difficult financial position now. The apartment I finally found was owned by a disgustingly misogynistic man who tried controlling how his tenants lived. That's a whole other story. I spent 2 years there. Then my teenage son, at the time 17, we will call him Will, and his girlfriend, 16, had a baby. The baby, we'll call him Buddy. I love the name Buddy for a baby. I think it's so cute. Was premature and in the NICU for almost 2 months. The kids were still so immature, the services involved were concerned if they could take care of Buddy full time. I was accepted as a kinship caregiver and took him home from the hospital. Having a newborn at my age was not easy, especially completely on my own. My niece, let's call her Susie, has a toddler, let's call her Missy, and was also on her own after leaving a very bad relationship. Her apartment building was being set to be demolished, so she was being evicted. We decided to move in together and help each other. We found a very small house, but it had 4 bedrooms, and in today's market, being accepted, we took it. Susie moved in a month before I did. We had a system and worked very well together. Her new boyfriend, let's call him Damien, would come over every day. He did nothing to help us as, quote, he didn't live there, but had no problem complaining. Damien usually stayed the night, and when he went to bed, my niece and I usually stayed up talking. Damien started getting angry that she didn't go to bed with him. He was jealous of Susie talking to her baby daddy. They co-parent quite well. Shouldn't you praise them for co-parenting? I think it's such a great thing when people go their separate ways but co-parent very well for the sake of the children. To sum it up, Damien is a complete man-child. Susie and Damien had a surprise pregnancy a few months later. So once again, we were moving to accommodate Damien and the new baby. We found a large home in a beautiful area. The move was very stressful, but we got it done and we were all happy. So I thought. Damien, who is also 28, moved in with us from his mother's house. He is the youngest of the family of boys and only did his laundry up to this point. He seemed willing to become an adult as long as it didn't interrupt his gaming. Oh boy, never interrupt a man who's gaming. Damien is lazy and he's almost always angry about something. His life's philosophy is, me first, screw the rest of the world because it's not his problem. Fast forward another 18 months. I am honest and forthcoming. I have always said if there's an issue, talk about it and don't let it fester. Anger is a poison, and what you put your energy into is who you become. When Damien does a job, it's as fast as he can and it's half-assed. He forgets several steps and then he blames his ADHD and just calls himself stupid and lazy. He wouldn't shovel the snow, so our walkway and driveway was ice. I can't shovel, but I did as much as I could, and so did Susie. With 3 kids under 3 in our house, it's busy. Now, Damien works very short hours, 6 days a week for a full-time salary. Where? He's home late in the morning. With Susie not working, he did get a second job to pick up the slack. I'm sure you can imagine how difficult it was, and he was constantly calling in for one reason or another. When he complained, I often said, welcome to the grown-up world. Damien doesn't like it, and if possible, refuses to pick up or clean up anything of mine or Buddy's. I sense when something's up and I ask to talk about what's happening. Neither Susie or Damien would be forthcoming. The point of living together was to help each other. Damien had started talking about how they should be just their own little family and how hard it is to pay the bills. Susie has told them she wasn't going to leave me in the lurch. This was behind my back. Last week, Susie told me they were looking for apartments. They can only afford a 2-bedroom. I was hurt. Susie gave me all of the excuses. Example, they should be on their own at their ages. She wants to flourish. The house is too expensive, too crowded, too much to clean, and taking care of all the children is too exhausting. All the excuses have very simple solutions, so I called BS. I came to find out Susie told Damien not to talk to me about his irks because he doesn't always say things the right way, but he's just mean, fueled by selfishness. I've stopped a couple of their arguments because he was getting out of hand, yelling, swearing, and in my opinion, being very verbally abusive. I am very patient and forgiving. He doesn't like when I call him out or if I step in when the new baby is screaming and he can't calm him. In those times, Damien is sitting or laying and this kiddo needs walking and moving and he doesn't sleep. He is a very happy baby, but he does not like to sleep. Now, he has been much better and more helpful with the baby and Missy in the last couple of months. Susie and I had a talk about her needing time to see if he's genuinely making these changes, and they stick. Damien has a way of continually nitpicking and raging until Susie wears down and gives in to his demands. I'm pretty sure that is the case now. The argument that ensued was ridiculous. He basically called me a slob, pointing out things that I didn't do or had left out. Susie didn't feel she had given me a commitment, and things changed. When I asked, "What about me? What am I supposed to do?" Damien answered, "Not my problem. He only cares about his family." Susie, I believe, tried to comfort me, saying, "This isn't personal, but you are making it personal." WTF. It's pretty personal, but thanks for the gaslighting. Damien added that I was delusional and a mess, and I can't take responsibility for my actions. Again, WTF. Susie called my son a loser? What? And she didn't want to have to take care of Buddy. That's rude. My guardianship had just ended a few weeks earlier. They complain that the baby doesn't have his own room and Buddy is only here 2 to 3 days a week. Yet they are moving to a 2-bedroom apartment. How is that not personal? Susie and my daughter are 1 year apart, Susie being older. They were as close as sisters when they were young. Susie spent a lot of time at my house until she got into her first relationship, which was dangerously abusive. She was pretty much gone from our lives for most of a decade after moving in with him. I was hurt and crying, and I told Susie that I was done with this family. I am always the one reaching out and feeling invisible to them. I hope to move closer to my daughter, 2 hours away, and I will only be back here to pick up Buddy and Will. I told Susie not to stay silent when he finished this honeymoon period. When he's doing things, I said he will hear my voice. I can't watch her walk right into something that, in my opinion, is not as stable as she thinks. I told her I was angry and feeling screwed over. Again, Susie was so offended and packed some things for all of them. She was going to her mother's, and Damien is going to his mother's until they find a place, because she just can't live with me anymore. So they ran away. Am I the a-hole for deciding to go very low contact with my extended family? I don't think it makes you an a-hole for going low contact. I think you're setting boundaries and doing what's best for you. And Susie's probably saying the same thing. She's probably like, I'm setting boundaries and doing what's best for me and my family. And whether we agree with it or not, you know, she's an adult. She's gonna have to learn that lesson on her own. I understand why you would be hurt from them moving on from the house and the agreement that you have, but I also don't think that would have been forever, right? Because she is starting her own family. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this one, you guys. Thanks for sending in your stories. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.